breakthrough. What's up, everybody? Happy Throwback Thursday. That means it must be the last Thursday of the month. With me, Jessica Dugas, and my amazingly handsome co-host, Kevin Kiley.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be back. I needed this.
I know. I was so sad last time, Kevin.
Me too. A part of my heart was not there. My month was not filled.
But our hearts will go on, Kevin. See what I did there? I mean, you were on the whirlwind of going out to LA and, doing all kinds of fabulousness. And then, when stuff like when we're going through this process of like big shifts and changes, sometimes those shifts and changes that happen aren't all that we think they're going to be. And sometimes just the literal shifts hit the fan.
Yep. You could say that again. Maybe a couple more times after that.
Right. But we're back today and I'm super excited to jump in. So for those of you guys that are new to the show and for all of you that have been here, just welcome back as well. But this is Throwback Thursday, a nostalgic look at 80s and 90s pop culture. I am born in the 80s. Kevin's born in the 90s. And I was talking to someone about this a little bit earlier where there are a lot of people that are my age. So I just turned 40 in February. And there's a lot of people that are my age that don't have the kind of memories of the 80s and 90s that I had. And I feel like that might be a little bit because I feel like I was all in with the pop culture then. Like I was all about whatever was going on in the moment. I was there with it. Do you feel that way too? Or do you kind of have to dig a little bit to remember?
I feel like I do have to dig a little bit to remember, but I always remember it. Like all those things, it comes back like that. You know what I mean? Like little things. Yeah.
Yeah. So how what we like to do in the beginning of the show is kind of just go through and say how it has 80s and 90s pop culture influenced us or maybe popped in our heads recently. And I will tell you, have you seen the series Cruel Summer?
No, I have not.
Oh. So it's on Freeform. And I've been watching it on Hulu with my husband and my oldest daughter. And it is a really cool concept. I have to, first of all, give a big shout out and thank you to Grim Long, who brought this show to my attention because it is so me. But it every episode, it's the coolest thing how they lay it out. They take a specific date in time and they say, okay, this is June 6, 1993, 1994, and 1995. So they do the same day, but 3 years apart. And you're trying to like put the pieces together of this mystery that's going on. This girl was kidnapped and the whole thing. But what I love about this is there's so much nostalgia for it taking place in the 90s, but also what they've done throughout, and I think you'll appreciate this, is they have taken some of our favorite songs from the 90s and they remake them. Like it's a current artist singing them. So you get all the nostalgia, but it's tied into now as well by bringing the current artists in to sing like remakes of some of these songs. One of the episode that came out yesterday was Wonderwall by Oasis. And it was redone and beautifully. And so I loved it because it's a throwback, but they really make it feel very relevant, you know?
Yeah. Throwback with a twist, right?
Yes. And I mean, and that's really what this show is all about, you know, as we sit here and discuss these things, because there's some things, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, like the Aquanet hairspray that just needs to stay in the past. However, there's things that we can learn and things that can be, you know, remade to make our own and have fun with it and all of that. And so it has been a fun throwback. So definitely check that out. And I'm also still enjoying the 80s and 90s shows that are on syndication on the Paramount channel as well. I'm just like Clarissa Explains It All and Hey Dude, I made my kids sit through like all 5 seasons of that.
I love that.
And all of what else is on there? All that. You can't do that on television. Just like all Ren and Stimpy is on there, Beavis and Butthead, like all of these shows from 80s and 90s. And I just love it. We've been having so much fun with that. So have you had anything come up since the last, I mean, it's been 2 months since you've been, been on here. Has anything come up for you that's kind of like a throwback moment?
I've been really into Celine Dion lately. Just kind of going back, you know, which I will talk about a little bit later, but I don't know. I get in these moods where I'm like, I get stuck on one particular artist.
Yeah.
It's her lately. It's just been her, like all her songs, everything that I've been going through, like each song has a message for me and I've just been vibing to it. So that's kind of where I'm at lately. And also if anybody's wondering why I'm in the car, I got to work late. So don't mind. Don't mind. This is not normal.
No judgment.
We make it work. Right?
And you look at you still kind of have the washed denim on.
Oh, Kevin. Know, I didn't come to play.
I mean, hello. All right. So listen, so if you guys are watching or listening right now, we would love for you to use the comment section, whatever platform you find us on, whether it's Kevin's page, my page, the Breakthrough Show page, our YouTube channel, whatever. Use the comment section, say hello, let us know where you're joining from, and let us know some of your favorite nostalgic moments and all of that from the 80s or 90s. So tonight we are talking about movies. Yes, iconic movies. And, you know, I am a glutton for punishment because I'm sitting here going, Kevin, pick your top favorite movies of the 90s. And I'll go ahead and take the 80s like it was going to be an easy task. I go and I look at the list and I'm like, did I give myself this job?
I know. It wasn't easy for me either. By no means.
I know. Who did this? I don't know. But so we each have our top three that we want to mention, but we'll of course talk about some other ones. So before we get to our favorite ones, we're going to take a little quick break, and then we'll be back in 1 minute, and then we'll each go over our top ones. We'll start in the 80s. I'll take the hard one first, and then and then we'll move on. All right, you guys, we'll be back in just a second for more of Throwback Thursday. Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every month for exclusive programming, where we invite you to go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Welcome back to Throwback Thursday with your hosts, Jessica Dugas and Kevin Kiley, a refreshing and nostalgic look back at 80s and 90s pop culture. So we are talking about movies, as I mentioned tonight, and it was a hard task. It was a hard task. The 80s, you know what I felt like going through these movies, Kevin? I felt like when we talked about the kind of birth of the music video and how really 80s and 90s music changed the landscape of music. I felt the exact same way looking at the movies, going, God, there were so many iconic moments where I felt like the movie came out and it just changed things. So the 80s, we had just so many moments. I want to give you some honorable mentions before we get into the three that I chose. And again, it was so hard. So we're starting out talking about the 80s. If those of you guys that are tuning in, if you want to put below some of your favorite 80s movies, and let us know what some of your favorites are as we're talking about these. So some honorable mentions. How about Beetlejuice, Kevin?
Oh, that's a good one. Come on.
I go back and watch that now and I'm like,
me too.
Could you imagine if they redid that, how actually scary the characters would be?
I know. I can't even. Like, it scares me now as it is.
It scared us with the lousy graphics.
I know. Imagine the fun.
I know. It really was an interesting time for, speaking of scary movies. We had Children of the Corn came out then, Child's Play. What are some of the other ones? Halloween 2, Friday the 13th 2. So continuing those series. What are some of the other ones here? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It seemed to be a lot of the second in the series coming out in the 80s as well. And then we had some of the other fantasy movies. We had The Gremlins. That was a huge one.
I like The Gremlins.
Yeah. Not so much the scary. I like the little furry.
I know. Not the nighttime gremlin.
I know. Back to the Future. How about,
oh, come on.
Yeah, I really, I almost wanted to pick that one. That one.
Yeah.
We had another one that there's two that were at the top of my list that I almost picked, and that was Big with Tom Hanks.
Yes.
That was just, some iconic scenes there. And then the other one that let me go back to my list here. Oh, The Goonies.
Oh, yeah. Come on. That's classic.
Hey, you guys. So there's just so many to mention. And we had the Ghostbusters.
Oh, gosh.
It's so hard. Dirty Dancing.
I know. It's so hard. How do you pick just three best ones? You just
I know. You really, to sum up, I tried to pick ones that sort of sum up different things. And by the way, guys, the other thing that Kevin and I talked about before we came on today was that we are not including a lot of Disney ones in this because Disney is a whole other thing.
Yeah, a whole other thing that we'll get into another day. We'll say these 3 times.
I know you can't do that, Jester. You can't do that.
How did I know it was Jester?
Right? Hey, Farhan, good to see you. So we're talking about 80s movies right now, and I'm about to get to the 3 that I chose as my top ones. But again, like I say top really loosely. The other one that came up for me that was kind of an emotional one was Splash with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah.
Oh my gosh, that is my favorite movie. To this day, that is my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah, I had a moment with that one because my brother and I, when we were little, used to watch that one often. And it was funny because do you remember the scene where Daryl Hannah walks up to the Statue of Liberty and she's naked because she's just gotten out of the water? And my brother used to get in trouble because the guy in the movie goes, bocce balls. And my brother used to copy that. And so I had this whole like nostalgic moment when I was thinking about that movie, for sure. We had a lot of some of the superhero ones. We had Batman.
Yeah,
was another amazing one that was out then. The Never Ending Story.
Wasn't a fan.
Really?
No,
yeah, I didn't.
Never ending.
I see what you did there. Jester liked Rocky and Star Wars. So those were some good ones too.
Rocky's great.
And Farhan saying the only 80s ones he's familiar with are the Disney ones. We'll come back then for our June last, because that's where we're gonna get into some Disney. Maybe Kevin and I might sing something for you too.
Oh, we just might.
We might do that because that's been a long time coming.
It sure has. We should do that.
We should do that for sure. Another one that was again, it's such a nostalgic thing for me, and I really wanted it to be like up there for me, was Willow. Did you ever watch that?
I have not seen that. No.
Willow is a whole it's weird and science fiction-y and old world and so many really just incredible cast and story writing. I just loved that movie. And I feel like it's very underrated. There's not a lot of people that I meet many people who actually haven't seen it at all. But it's a fantastic fantasy sort of kind of like Lord of the Rings sort of thing.
Okay.
But it's really, really good. Another one that I loved is Flashdance. We had a lot of dance movies. We had Flashdance. We had Grease 2. We had Footloose. Like, there's just so many. Another really, which wasn't Disney, but animated, was Land Before Time. That was another one that was really special to me.
That's a good one. I enjoyed that one, even to this day. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. You can't get cuter than like Petrie and Littlefoot. And my youngest daughter is in love with dinosaurs, and she loves Triceratops because of Sarah in the movie as well. So it's nice to see some of these that have been really, those full circle moments of where we enjoyed them, but our kids, our nieces and nephews, they're all loving them as well. So it's a lot of fun. All right. So getting to my 3 that I had to choose because I forced myself. All right. All right. I'm going to start with one that I felt like sort of tied in for me, the vibe of Neverending Story, the vibe of Willow, and kind of that same sort of feeling for me. And that is The Labyrinth.
I love that movie.
You cannot beat some David Bowie and just his. He had a swag in that movie.
A whole swag going on. Okay.
Yes. Yes, and I mean, of course, you have the music, but the fantasy of it, and to be honest, I didn't like that movie when I was really little because it scared me.
Yeah, it is scary in a sense. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, the Goblin King is going to get me. But as I've gotten older, I've really appreciated, and it really was, you have the animatronics and just some beautiful with the costumes and the set and all of this stuff that I really feel like a lot of that paved the way for, and again, it plays into the vibe of what I feel like the same sort of vibe as Willow and Neverending Story, and that those movies together sort of paved the way for a lot of the more advanced, definitely, animation that we have now.
Yes.
All right. So what do you guys think about The Labyrinth? Do you like that one? Is it one that sticks out for you for the 80s? Let me pull that one down. The other one I want to throw up there really quick, as I mentioned, that Jester is talking about is The Outsiders and Stand By Me. Two more really good ones for sure. So my next pick is because I had to throw a musical in there, and because people know me as running around when I was little singing the title song at the top of my lungs everywhere I went, including restaurants. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everyone. It's Annie.
Yes, I love Annie. It's a hard knock life.
Yes, we had to go, Annie. The sun will come out tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
It sure will.
And there's a lot of things that are in that that I think when we felt like as kids that we were having a hard time at school with our parents, with whatever, it was this idea in that movie that just by being ourselves, that someone would appreciate us for who we are, because Annie was loud, and she was bossy, and she was, had the red hair and the freckles and the not nice clothes. And, people came in and they loved her. They loved her for just being her. And there's something so comforting about that message, don't you think?
100%. She was who she was, and she didn't care what anybody said. And that's so important, for people to kind of see and base their appearance off and how they think about themselves. It's a role model in a sense.
Yeah. Ferran saying that he loved Annie. He's seen the new one. I enjoyed the new one, but I'm such a sucker for like the musical, like the not like the old. I'm very much this person. I can appreciate a new one for what it is, but I'm so nostalgic, and I want to hang on to my little red-haired Annie.
Absolutely. The classic.
Yes, but I appreciate, because without those, those movies paved the way for the new ones, and they created the inspiration for them to even be redone in the first place. So I appreciate it, and I get it. My last choice, and I'm leaving this as last because it really compiles a lot of a few different movies together, because it stars one person who is the goddess of 80s cult classics, in my opinion, and that's Miss Molly Ringwald.
Oh, God, absolutely.
And so we got to talk about 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and of course The Breakfast Club.
The best. Look at
you just can't. There's nothing better than
I know.
And it's one of those ones, like, I really tried to choose movies that, are that really paved the way for the style, for the attitude of the time. And not just movies that I love, but things that I really feel like paved the way for different things in that era. But again, there were so many movies, but I couldn't, because Molly was really the face of so many films and just a sign of the times, really, Molly Ringwald. So I couldn't not mention that one. Couldn't not mention it. Another one that I can't believe I got it on my list here that I totally forgot to say that I really want to mention is The Color Purple. Just an iconic movie, you guys, for so many reasons. And it's one that I can watch that to this day and cry, like just completely sob through that one. Jester's always mentioning The Toy and Tootsie, you guys, with Dustin Hoffman as a woman. I mean, hello. That's another. My mom loved that movie too. Shout out to my mom if she's watching right now. Another really good one. So definitely keep that chat going, you guys, and let us know some of your other favorites as we're moving on. So we're going to talk about, with Kevin Kiley now, we're going to talk about some 90s movies. Yes, we are. Before we get to your top 3.
Okay.
Let's go over some honorable mentions here. And I got to start with one of my, this probably would have been my number 1 had I had 90s, and that's Clueless.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Again, I know. Again, though, because of the style, because of the attitude of it, because of it was so like that Valley Girl 90s vibe, you know. I gotta go a little bit with that one. We had Edward Scissorhands.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. I love that movie.
Yeah, another really good. It's hard, but the guys, every single one. Cruel Intentions.
It is hard.
I think we had. I feel like with we had a lot of teenager movies come out in the 90s that were like really geared at teenagers. We had Romeo and Juliet, which was fantastic. We had 10 Things I Hate About You. She's All That. Fear with Marky Mark.
Yep.
Had to have a moment with that. Cruel Intentions. Oh gosh. Pretty Woman.
I was just thinking that. I love Pretty Woman. Love.
Yeah, that's another really good one. Hocus Pocus. That was a Disney, but it's not a cartoon.
That's Disney, though. That's Disney. Not fair. We're not there yet.
Okay, fine. How about Jester's got a good one? Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Top Gun. I think didn't we have a few different Tom Cruise movies in that? Because we had Cocktail. Yeah.
Love Tom Cruise.
There's a few different ones. How about we have Julia Roberts? I feel like going back to Pretty Woman as well, but Notting Hill. I love that movie.
Yeah, I love Julia Roberts. She's so good.
Yeah. Another cute kids one, Matilda.
Oh, I love Matilda. The mother from Matilda. Come on.
Rita Wilson. Hello. She is hilarious. Oh, apparently Top Gun was 1986. Thanks, Jester. Thanks for that. I didn't even realize, like, that makes me feel like older a lot. How about Little Rascals?
Oh, I love Little
Was
Rascals.
that Disney?
No, that was
okay.
Not Disney.
I didn't think so. But another big favorite of mine from 90s was Twister.
Yeah. Oh,
Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt.
Yes. Oh, I love
that. Okay, how about My Girl?
I feel like I'm taking a walk down memory lane. All these pop up and bringing back different memories.
I know. City of Angels.
Oh my gosh, I love the City of Angels.
These are some cry fest ones we're talking about now.
Yeah.
That one, like, it's such a good movie, and then the end, you just leave and you're like, why?
I know. It hurts to think about, to be honest with you.
I know. One of my favorite ones from the end of the 90s was Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore.
Okay. Everything Drew Barrymore. Come on.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
She's my favorite actress. Like, I love her to death. Oh.
Yeah. I liked a lot of the ones from the end of the night. I loved My Best Friend's Wedding, Julia Roberts.
Yep.
So some of the biggest actresses, like we're talking about Julia Roberts, we're talking about Drew Barrymore, we're talking about Meg Ryan.
Yep.
Meg Ryan was in a ton of things from 90s. So right at the turn going from the 80s into the 90s was The Witches. Do you remember that one?
Oh my gosh, that scared me and scares me to this day.
Yes, there's a remake of it.
I did see that. Have
you seen the remake?
Yeah, with Anne Hathaway, right?
Yes.
She's the Grand High Witch. Those witches are terrifying in the original. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. I almost thought the first one was more scary than the second one.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, there's something about that the bad graphics sometimes.
I know.
that makes it more scary.
I know. That Grand High Witch is not playing around.
We talked about some of the horror movies from the 80s. So in the 90s we had Sleepy Hollow. Johnny Depp. We had Interview with a Vampire.
Oh.
Again, Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We had, let's see what else we have here. Okay. So story about this one. This was from 1991. I went to a sleepover at Jessica Chavez's house. Listen, Jessica, let me tell you, this movie, sleepovers, is where I ended up seeing the bulk of scary movies because I would never watch them by myself, right?
Right.
The People Under the Stairs. Have you seen that?
No, and I don't think I want to.
Don't blame you there, to be honest. It was just like, it wasn't for me so much scary as it was like disturbing.
Yeah.
And I tend to be okay with scary movies that are not really super close to real life, but if we watch it and it seems like this could be true today, I'm like, I'm out.
Right. No, I know.
Can't do it.
I have a problem where like sometimes I get so involved in a movie that it sticks in my brain and I'm like, I can't, I'm out.
I'm glad I'm not the only one with that, because that has happened to me where it starts to feel really weird. And I almost wish, I can't even mention like a couple of the ones that I watch now because it's not part of our topic that seem really, it freaks me out a little bit because I'm like, this could be today and it's not funny.
I know. Totally.
Jester mentions a good one, Good Will Hunting. Robin Williams and like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh.
And I know. See?
Wow.
Indecent Proposal. That's another good one too. We had trying to go through a few more of these. Some of the sci-fi ones. Godzilla. I think that was the first time like Godzilla had really been done in a way that was more technological on the screen. That was in, let me check, 1998. So that would make sense then. Do you remember Coneheads?
Yes, I do remember Coneheads.
I remember it, but I don't remember liking it very much.
Why? Like, why? I still don't understand it.
I know. Independence Day came out in 96 with Will Smith, and I love that movie to this day.
Yeah.
That's another really good one. There wasn't a whole... so The Astronaut's Wife came out in 99. That was another one that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Big sci-fi favorite from 1995 for me was Waterworld.
I'm rethinking my choices after we're talking about all of this. It's hard.
I know, but listen, Kevin Costner is another one that just unbelievable actor. And when he was in The Bodyguard and oh my God, my mom, if my mom is watching right now, what is the movie with him, Kevin Costner? Maybe you might know, Kevin, where he gets out of jail and goes on this trip. Now I need to go look that up while we're chatting here, because it was so good and now I can't think of it.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Jodie Foster, the movie Contact scared me as well, and I really don't know why.
Creepy.
It was just strange. Deep Impact. We had a lot of, look at how many were like sort of end of the world kind of movies. Deep Impact, Armageddon.
Absolutely.
So many. I'm going to look up that movie. So as you were choosing your favorites, Kevin, what are some of the things that you were thinking about as like what made these ones special for you?
Just memories and I'm same with music, same when I write music, same thing with movies for me. I love stories and messages behind them that are touching to everyone. The story, just like kind of how you said about Annie, like she was that for people, like to kind of show to be yourself. I love stories that are meaningful, and these three, the ones that I pick, are certainly meaningful in their own way with the messages and their story that they tell. So that's why I kind of went that route.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to look through these Kevin Costner movies now, because now I'm on this, like, what bothers me? It bothers me that like I will have A Perfect World, I think was the name of it.
A Perfect World? Okay, that sounds familiar. It wasn't what I was thinking though.
Let me make sure that that's the right one, because now I'm questioning myself is what it is. So let's get to your top here.
Let's do it.
All of that with Shawshank Redemption. Was it A Perfect World, Jester? Okay, I think that's what it is. Yeah, that was a whole thing. So anyway, all right, your top three, Kevin. I'm gonna flash one on the screen. And you tell me about it. Here we go.
This is still one of my all-time favorite movies. Goes back to Drew Barrymore. I love this story. It is not just like a typical Cinderella story. It's so much more, because you know how like she's got the fairy godmother and the wings and like everything's happily ever after. Well, it wasn't like that for her in this, and I just love the message. It shows so much more real and passion behind it. I love it.
Yeah, so I liked that one as well, because it was a Cinderella story, but it was outside of what the
typical Cinderella. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was outside of the layout of it, and it was very fantasy.
Yes.
Like as well. And again, you can't go wrong with Drew Barrymore. So
no, never.
You just can't. Another one of the times that we didn't even mention before. Go ahead.
Come on,
Leo.
What do I need to? Do I even need to say anything about this one? Like, this is just like, I can honestly say that I could still watch this to this day and cry like a baby as if it was the first time that I was watching it.
Yes, cry. But as I've gotten older, I get to the end of this movie and I'm like, girl, there is enough room for two of you on that platform.
Move over. Like, come on.
Pull his behind up on that.
Listen, I'm going to tell you a story, and I still refuse to believe it. Everybody tries to tell me that at the end, when she throws the heart of the ocean, and, it flashes back to her in her bedroom. And then it goes back to the Titanic. Everyone's like, she dies. No, I refuse to believe that she dies. I believe that she's just having a nice dream. Thank you.
Is that a conspiracy theory about it?
Yes, that's her dying, and it goes back to the Titanic where Jack and everyone's there that died. But I refuse to believe that.
Kevin, I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about it. That's why I'm like, no, I'm just not.
Do you guys so I'm curious for all of you that are watching or listening, have you ever heard about some of these movies that we've talked about, any conspiracy theories like that? Like, do you appreciate that when people try to think of reasons why things are the way they are? Kevin's like, no, I don't. Shut up. No.
Let me live my life and enjoy it. It's already sad as it is.
Let me live my life. I love it. Well, and they make it extra dramatic with Celine Dion there. You can't have a movie that you put this powerhouse diva voice and not feel some kind of way about it.
Oh, that song. Oof.
Sing it, Kevin.
I will. Next time I'll be on the ship, you'll see it pan out to me with the Heart of the Ocean on.
Never let go. Never let go, Kevin. Yeah. Well, Leonardo DiCaprio, he did Romeo and Juliet in the 90s as well. Like he was definitely a heartthrob. So I got to tell you at the end, we're going to get to your third one. And then I got to tell you, don't let me forget to leave and tell you about this movie that is on Hulu right now, because for all of you that love a throwback, you are going to be here for this. Trust me. So just hang tight. Don't let me forget. All right. Your last one. And I let this for last because this gave me all the feels with it because of the fact that we don't have the main character in our lives anymore, bringing us the joy. And we got for Kevin's last pick, Jumanji.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even really know. It's just classic in so many ways. And it's just like, I love it. And it's so sad, with Robin Williams, but he left us with such a legacy and such good memories and movies. And yeah.
It was good. And I think also like that's one of the ones that I watch back, and really for that time, the graphics and everything and the special effects were really good. I feel like for that time. I know. Anybody want to disagree with me? because it's just one of those things where there's so many, especially some of the horror ones like Gremlins, we can watch and be like, well, that's a little, but I feel like Jumanji was very like real almost.
Yeah. And it's just like sometimes there's some movies that you don't need to remake, and I personally think that this one was one that didn't need to be remade, but it was. But it's fine. Just my opinion.
I would agree with you a little bit. I think the concept of what they've done with the remakes of Jumanji is really interesting. I think it's the way that they made it go into like from a board game to a video game, and then almost like a virtual reality kind of thing. Like just going through the different steps of those, I think made sense. But I think that they definitely need to be separated from the original. And especially since I think it may have been good if Robin was still with us to bring him into maybe the last in the series. It would have tied it all together and made sense, but it didn't feel like it made a whole lot of sense to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Robin Williams is Jester's idol.
Yep. It's a good idol to have.
I love it. And we'll definitely have to get into a little more about Robin when we talk Disney, because that's one of the most iconic characters right there from Aladdin for sure.
Absolutely.
So listen, I got to tell you about this movie finishing out. So I saw this film come across my should watch on these people must know that I'm into 80s and 90s, that like the algorithm or whatever, because it suggested this movie for me called Kid 90.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to pull up the information here. So do you know who Soleil Moon Frye is?
Yes. Yep.
That played Punky Brewster. Everybody.
She was in Teenage Witch, right?
No.
Oh.
Oh, wait. I think she might have been, like as a supporting character. See, I'm so stuck on her being punky that it's hard for me to think outside of anything else. By the way, Jester was saying Patch Adams made rain in his house. I bet that's a tearjerker right there. So this Kid 90 movie, Soleil, when she was getting into the industry, she videotaped everything, literally her whole life. And at a time when it really wasn't common for people to be walking around in the 80s and early 90s with a video camera all the time, because these were like clunky. This wasn't like the cute little, like, little things that barely fit in your hands now. These were like big video recorders. Okay.
Right.
And in addition to videoing everything, she also kept journals of everything. So as she's gotten older, she like realized that she was feeling like she sort of missed out on something, like there's something she's missing, the pieces of her life that she was going, did I make this up or did it really happen? So all these years she's had these videotapes and journals in a box, never touched them at all. And then one day goes, I just am going to open it and I'm going to go through everything. And so they show on this movie Kid 90 that's put together is her going through this box, and they show clips of people like Stephen Dorff, Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell, Brian Austin Green from 90210, David Arquette, Heather McComb, Balthazar Getty, and of course Soleil. There were references to the drug use that was going on at the time. There was references to you talk about a throwback, the AIDS epidemic. There was talk about everything that happened with O.J. Simpson. There, like all of these different things. And it was such a throwback, but in the most real and authentic way, because this wasn't someone coming on and going, this is how I remember it happening. It was literally like, watch, it's on video.
Right. That is really cool. That's really interesting.
You've got to go watch it. You must watch it before we come back next time and tell me what you think about it, because I thought it was so beautifully done. And I was really moved by it. It is not easy to put your whole self out there in that kind of way. And Soleil has always sort of been that person, because do you remember when she came out very publicly about her breast reduction?
Yes. Yeah.
So she's always, I feel like, been that person to be like, this is what I'm going through. Now let me use it to help you.
Yeah, that raw reality, which is great to see in somebody that's in the industry, because a lot of it is
right. My only regret with watching Kid 90 was coming out of it feeling like I wish I had kept my journals and my little notes and and my videotapes, and it makes me sad that I didn't do that. So that's my moment coming out of it. And it also makes me feel better about not making my kids throw all that stuff away,
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to say hi to Jason Lansing, who's joining us. Happy Throwback Thursday, Jason. For Rand saying hi to Jason. I am doing well. We've had a good time talking about some 80s and 90s movies today. And you guys, I think for sure the next couple of episodes, we've got to focus on Disney. We need to do it, and we need to sing.
Oh, we're singing. It's happening.
We're singing. It's happening. It's happening, boys and girls. Robin Hood is another good one. Jester says as well. So I hope you guys have had a good time. For those of you that are watching on replay, I hope you will still use the comment section, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, and let us know some of your favorites. Also, for all of you guys that are watching, I would love for you to let us know some of the topics from the 80s and 90s that you might want us to cover in future episodes. Like I said, next couple of months, we're definitely going to dig into Disney and have a really good time with that, because Kevin and I both have a background in music, and I just think it just fits. Okay.
It just has to be. Okay. That's it. It's just, that's what it is. Thank you.
It is what it is. So I had a really good time with this today, Kevin, and I hope you did too.
Always a pleasure. I needed this. It feels good to be back.
Yes, I need this too, because sometimes things, part of the benefit of this, you guys, as we get older, and we were in the adult world, and a lot of these we enjoyed as teenagers, as young adults, as children. And we have these moments of, we're having to do the big boy and girl things now, and doing life. And sometimes it's nice to just go back in our mind to when things were simple. And it doesn't mean you have to live there. It doesn't mean, as I was talking to Kevin before the show, that we have to spray our whole hair with Aquanet hairspray to go there. But we can have this moment of just taking a breath and remembering when things were more simple, and also asking ourselves, how can we still have those moments now? How can we help our children and our nieces and nephews and our friends' children and all the young people of the world right now? How can we help them to savor the memories of their childhood, of their growing up, so that when they're our age, they're not going, I wish I would have recorded that. I wish I would have had that moment. And not this stuff that we do now, guys, of going to a concert and videoing the whole thing and not really enjoying it. That's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about writing down, like Soleil did in Kid 90, writing down, this is how I feel about this. I'm seeing this on the news and this is how it makes me feel. Or I'm watching this movie and God, I really love insert actor here, or something like that. You can really ask yourself, when I listen to Ghosted by Kevin Kiley, it makes me feel some kind of way.
Speaking of Ghosted, I have 2 new songs coming out soon.
Yes. Don't leave us ghosted on that, Kevin.
I will on that note for today.
Not right. Right.
They are coming. They are coming.
All right. Well, we actually have a lot, guys. I have a lot of news. We have a lot coming up before the end of this year. This is and I'm super excited about doing this show because as we go on and we create these new memories, we can kind of pull from the old ones as well and say, how can we bring the fun of this or the lessons from this into what we're doing today? And I just think we're all a little better for it, not just focusing on today, but what happened before and how we can tie it in is always a fun thing. Kevin, I love Jessica, you so much.
I love you more.
All right, you guys. So we are going to be back again in June. The last Thursday of the month is when we are going to be here. Guys, make sure you are paying attention to our social media because we may be changing the time of the show. So just keep yourself up to date with that. We want to make sure that as we're getting to these episodes where we are going to sing for you, that both of us are in a good place where we can do that and do it well. So really excited to be bringing that to you. So just pay attention to our social media, whether it's Kevin Kiley's Facebook page or my Jessica Dugas Facebook page or the Breakthrough Show on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you keep up with that. And also, so for June, we will be back on Thursday, June 24th, 2021. And we'll see you then. All right, guys, we'll see you next time on Throwback Thursday.
Bye.